Hi tappers, welcome back to our tapping classroom. Let me know how the last session went for you and if you kept going after the end of the video. Today we will do a tapping beginning with a positive aspect. A note before we begin our bubble graph, no judgment on what comes out on this graph. We are asking for information and our brain will give it to us. Whatever comes, write it down. You will likely get a mix of positive and negative thoughts from your graph, but each one is very helpful. And if you don't get any thoughts, that too deserves the bubble. So let's get started. We're going to hone in on my biggest dream. Now, let's do our bubble branching. And now, let's do our SUD scoring. So I'm going to point out a few different things here of different angles of the SUD scoring I just did. So last time we used the most common SUD score, but here I have a percentage which represents how much I believe it's really possible. So on this one, I'm hoping to get it up to 100% since it's positive, whereas this one, it's also how much I believe it's true, but it's negative. So I'm hoping that this one will drop to 0. Try not to complicate it beyond this. It's meant to be a very simplified system so that you can easily and quickly have an assessment of where you are. This is as complicated as I get with it. So, shall we begin? I'm going to start here because that's what feels the biggest emotionally to me right now. So go ahead and note your SUD score of your beginning point. Comment below with your beginning SUD score. Follow my actions, but change my words to fit what you are tapping on. Even though right now I feel that my biggest dream is exhausting, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though the thought of my biggest dream makes me feel extremely tired, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I feel exhausted at the thought of all of the effort that my biggest dream takes, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. When I think of my biggest dream being exhausting, I feel it behind my eyes in my body. I feel it right here. And it feels heavy, feels sleepy. I also feel a little teeny tiny bit in my heart, like a seed. And my heart, it looks like a heavy, shiny, metallic seed, like literally in the shape of a sunflower seed. Behind my eyes, it feels like old school TV static. The sound, the texture I imagine that static would have, which is kind of scratchy and irritating. And the moving black and white chunks as well, like the kind of linear but small, like little bricks almost, just that's what this exhaustion feels like in my body. This exhaustion in my body the TV static behind my eyes, the metallic sunflower seed in my heart, this exhaustion with my biggest dream. I'm going to skip this point because that'll be really loud on the microphone. So after tapping through once with focusing on where it is in my body, the little seed in my heart is gone. I don't feel that anymore. And if I had done a SUD score on where I felt it in my face, it would have been about an 8, so the same as my beginning entire SUD score. And now I would say behind my eyes, it's at about a 4. But if I think back to the scoring that I did on my actual paper, it's still an 8. So I know I've alleviated some of the sensation in my body, but I don't think I've reached the root of it yet. So now I'm going to go, okay, the sensation behind my eyes, this exhaustion, the TV static. When else in my life have I felt this? What's the first thing that pops to my mind? What's my earliest memory? What else can I connect this feeling to? Interesting. So I went back to when I was first married. I was highly idealistic, and my husband ended up, I'll just say, not honoring our vows so much. So that's when I felt that exhaustion in my face, when that idealistic view of the commitment I had made was shattered. And I was tired, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go from there. So now I'm going to choose phrases according to that. My marriage. Wasn't what it was supposed to be. The shock in my body when I found out. The sadness in my heart. The tiredness in my eyes. My belief was broken. Even though my belief in my marriage was broken, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though my biggest dream at that time didn't seem to matter to the person I was committed to. And that hurt in a lot of ways. I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. I choose. I accept the part of me that was broken. I accept the part of me that was so deeply wounded. I accept the part of me that decided this must not be true. I accept the part of me that decided I don't get to have what I want. And felt I don't get to have what I thought I was receiving. I had done everything that I had been told I needed to do to have that dream. And I never did. I didn't get to have it. That's some big pain. But that's not my story anymore. That was an event in my life. But I do not choose that to be a defining moment for me. I do not want to choose that to describe who I am in the present moment. That happened a long time ago. And I don't want to live there anymore. So can I let that go and just let it be a memory and not attach it to anything present? Yes, I can. Sometimes when I'm tapping, I feel like I need to take a deep breath and can't. So what I'm doing is I'm holding right in between my rib cage where my diaphragm is. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure and then taking a deep breath. Because I feel like that gives me support to get out that breath that's trying to get out. My biggest dream. My failed marriage. Shit happens. But wonderful things happen too. My biggest dream. My biggest dream. Whew. Okay, so that was not a road I was anticipating. Let's check back in. So first, I'll check back in with my body and the feeling behind my eyes. And I don't feel it at all right now. The symptom of it, the feeling of it in my body is completely gone. What I do feel, and my face is completely gone. I do feel some sadness in my heart that I know is connected to that experience of that marriage. So that's something that now I have a pathway to that I'll explore later. Doesn't have to do with this, but I'm going to make a note of it so that I know that that's something for me to go back and tap more on. Going back to my original point. Okay, so I started with an 8, exhausting my biggest dream. Yeah, 0. I don't feel that at all anymore, which is amazing. That's fantastic because it felt really heavy when we started. Could you tell? Could you see that in my eyes? And now it's nothing. Literally nothing. And I have a pathway to something that I didn't know was in my way. So now I can go tap the rest of that out and get even more freedom. Man, I love this stuff. All right. I'll see you soon for another tapping class.